Welcome back to Pour Into Purpose with Counselor Stewart. I'm so glad you're here. In our last episode, we talked about growing through what we go through, how students can face challenges, setbacks, behavior, struggles, emotional moments, and difficult seasons and still come out stronger. We talked about how challenges don't have to define students, they can help develop them. And today, we're planting a new seed in the conversation: the power of mindset. Because before students can grow through what they go through, they first have to believe that growth is possible. Today's episode is called The Growth Mindset Garden: Cultivating Belief, Effort, and Resilience. Because growth starts in the mind before it shows up in behavior, academics, confidence, or character. Think about this for a moment. Two students can face the same exact challenge. They can make the same mistake, get the same low grade, struggle with the same assignment, or receive the same correction from an adult, but they may handle it completely different. One student may say, "I can't do this. I'm not good at this. I give up." While another student may say, "I can't do this yet. This is hard, but I can keep trying. I made a mistake, but I can learn from it and move forward." Same situation, same challenge, same classroom, but a completely different mindset. And sometimes the difference between giving up and trying again is not ability, it's belief. It's what that student has learned to believe about themselves. It's what they have heard. It's what they have experienced. It's what they have been told they can or cannot do. And it's also what they have started saying to themselves. Because let's be real, the words students speak out loud often come from thoughts they have inside about themselves. So when a student says, "I'm not smart. I'm not good at math. I can't read. I always mess up anyway," or "there's no point of me even trying." We have to understand something. Those are not just words, y'all. Those are beliefs. And beliefs shape behavior. Think about a garden. When you plant a garden, you don't just throw seeds on the ground and walk away. You don't plant something on Monday and expect to go outside and see flowers blooming everywhere. No, you have to care for it. You have to water it. You have to make sure it gets the proper sunlight. You have to protect it from things that could damage it. And sometimes you even have to get down in that soil and pull up the weeds. Because if you let the weeds keep growing, they'll start taking over what you planted on purpose. Mindset works the same way. A student's mind is like a garden. Positive beliefs have to be planted. Confidence has to be watered. Effort has to be encouraged. Mistakes have to be understood. Resilience has to be nurtured. And those negative thoughts, "I'm not good enough. I'll never get this. I'm not smart as everybody else." Those thoughts are like weeds. And if you don't help students pull them up, those thoughts can take root. They can take over. And once they take root, they can affect everything: how students learn, how they behave, how they participate, how they ask for help, and how they see themselves. So our job as educators, counselors, parents, mentors, or leaders is not just to teach students skills. We also have to help them grow healthy beliefs. Beliefs like, "I can learn. I can improve. I can try again. It's okay if I ask for help. I can make a mistake and still grow. I may not have it yet, but I'll get there. That is the heart of a growth mindset. In schools, we hear fixed mindset statements all the time. A student looks at an assignment and says, I can't do this, it's too hard. A student struggles to read a passage and says, I can't read. A student gets corrected and says, I always get in trouble anyway. And if we're not careful, we may only respond to what we see on the surface. The refusal, the attitude, the shutdown, the missing assignment, the unfinished work, the low test score. But many times underneath the behavior is a belief. Before that student refused to try, they may have already believed they were going to fail. Before they put their head down, they may have already told themselves, I'm not good at this. Before they talked back, they may have already felt embarrassed. Before they gave up, they may have already decided that trying would not make a difference. And that is why mindset matters so much. Because when we shift the belief, we begin to shift the behavior. When students believe they can grow, they are more likely to try again. When students believe mistakes are part of learning, they are more willing to take risk. When students believe effort matters, they begin to understand that success is not just about being naturally good at something. It's about practice. It's about persistence. It's about support. And it's about not quitting when things get hard. Every guard needs attention, and every student's mindset needs attention too. Some students come to us already carrying weeds in their garden. They may have heard negative words. They may have experienced failure. They may have been compared to an older brother or a younger sister. Your sister's smarter than you. Your brother act way better than you when he was in my class. They may have struggled for so long that struggle has become part of how they see themselves. So when we're working with students, we have to remember that we are not just always dealing with what we see right now, the present moment. Sometimes we're dealing with years of thoughts that have taken root. That's why one compliment may not change everything overnight, but it helps. One word of encouragement may not erase self-doubt right away, but it still helps the growth. One good grade may not automatically rebuild confidence, but y'all, it helps them to see that growth is possible. Growth takes time, just like a garden. You water it today, you check on it tomorrow, you protect it next week, you keep showing up. You don't stop just because you don't see it bloom right away. And that's what our students need from us. They need adults who will keep showing up, adults who will keep speaking life, adults who will remind them of what is possible, who will not give up on them just because the growth is not immediate. Because some students are growing underground before we even see anything come up above the surface. And just because we can't see it yet, that does not mean growth is not happening. So, how do we help students grow a growth mindset? Here are 3 simple ways. Add the word yet. This is simple, but it's very powerful. When students say, I can't do this, we can help them say, I can't do this yet. When a student says, I don't understand, we can help them say, I don't understand yet. When a student says, I'm not good at this, we can help them say, I'm not good at this yet, but with practice, I can improve. That little word creates possibility. It gives the students room to grow. It reminds them that where they are right now is not where they have to stay. It's not the end of their story. Yet says you are still learning. You can keep going. This is not the end. And sometimes students need us to lend them that word until they learn to use it themselves. Because a growth mindset does not always come naturally. Sometimes we have to model it, repeat it, and gently correct the negative language. We have to say, let's try that again, instead of saying, you can't do it, say you can't do it yet. Tone matters. That one word can begin to change how students talk about themselves. And when their self-talk changes, their effort can change too. The next strategy is to praise effort, not just results. Now, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with celebrating good grades, high scores, awards, or student accomplishments. Students need to be celebrated. But if we only celebrate the final result, some students may start to believe they are only successful when everything comes out perfect. And that can create pressure. It can create fear. It can make students afraid to try something new because they don't want to fail. It could cultivate the weeds, y'all. So we have to praise the process too. We can say, I noticed how hard you worked on that. I saw you try again even after you got frustrated. You asked for help instead of giving up. You stayed with it even when it was hard. That kind of praise helps students understand that effort matters. It teaches them that growth is not always about getting it right the first time. Sometimes growth is trying it again. It's asking for help. It's correcting a mistake. It's staying calm when something feels hard. Growth is doing one more problem when you wanted to quit. And listen, that matters. Because when we praise effort, we water persistence, we water confidence, and we water resilience. And little by little, students begin to understand that they are not stuck, that they are growing. The last strategy is to normalize mistakes. And before I get into this brings to mind when I was in the classroom and you know how you write your lesson on the board, and sometimes I would misspell a word or use the wrong verb, and a student would raise their hand, Miss Stewart, you spelled value wrong. Did I? Where? Right here? Oh my gosh, can you help me? How do you spell value? Come up here and help me spell it. I would do that to model to my students that I'm human. I make mistakes. I'm not about to get upset with it. I'm going to ask someone who saw the mistake to help me. Modeling is important. It helps normalize mistakes. Students need to know that mistakes are not the enemy of learning. Mistakes are a part of learning. A mistake does not mean I'm not smart. It does not mean I can't do this. I'm going to fail forever. A mistake can mean this is where I need more practice. This is where I need to ask for help. This is where I can grow. But when we have to help students see mistakes that way, when we model, when we have to show them, it lets them see the human in us, that we are also still growing. Because many students feel shame when they make a mistake. They feel embarrassed. They feel like everybody else understood except them. They may even shut down because getting it wrong feels too uncomfortable. But growth can feel uncomfortable. So we have to create spaces where mistakes are safe, where trying is safe, where learning is safe, where students know They can get something wrong and still be respected. They can struggle and still be supported. They can ask for help and still feel capable. One thing we can say is mistakes help us see what we need to practice, or this is not failure, this is feedback. Those small statements can make a big difference because when students stop fearing mistakes, they become more willing to learn. And when they are more willing to learn, they are more willing to grow. This is why mindset is so connected to purpose, because students cannot fully walk in purpose if they do not believe they have one. They cannot grow into what they are meant to become if they believe they are already limited. They cannot keep pressing forward if every setback feels like proof that they are not enough. So part of pouring into students is helping them to see beyond the moment, beyond the grade, beyond the mistake, the behavior, the hard day, beyond what they currently believe about themselves. We have to help them see possibility. And sometimes we have to believe for them until they can believe for themselves. That is part of the work. That is part of the pouring. That is part of cultivating the garden. And let me say this. Sometimes students are not looking for a perfect adult. They're looking for a present one. Somebody who will say, I see you. I believe in you. You can try again. Or this is not the end of your story. That kind of support can change the way a student sees themselves. So here's the takeaway. A student's mindset can either limit their growth or unlock it. And every day we have opportunities to help shape that mindset through our words, our encouragement, our patience, our correction, our response when they struggle. The way we celebrate progress, the way we handle mistakes. Because sometimes students do not just need someone to teach them the lesson. They need someone to help them believe that they can learn the lesson. They need someone to remind them that one hard moment does not define their ability. They need someone to say, you are still growing. You are still learning. You are not there yet, but you'll get there. And when we do that, we are not just helping students with school. We are helping them with life, because life will bring hard moments. Life will bring setbacks. Life will bring challenges. And we want students to have a mindset to say, I can keep going. I can learn from this. I can grow through this. I'm not finished yet. Thank you for joining me for episode 6 of Pour Into Purpose with Counselor Stewart. As you move through your day, I want you to remember this. What students believe about themselves matters just as much as what they are taught. So let's be intentional about the words we speak. Let's help students pull up those negative thoughts. Let's water their confidence. Let's nurture their effort. Let's normalize mistakes. And let's remind them that growth is always possible. Because when we grow their mindset, we grow their confidence. When we grow their confidence, we grow their resilience. And when we grow their resilience, we help them move closer to their purpose. So keep planting, keep watering, keep encouraging, keep believing, even when you do not see the bloom right away, because growth is still happening. Until next time, pour into them with intention, because purpose grows with what we give. So go ahead and click that follow button and continue to listen to Counselor Stewart.